My name's Gary Haynes. My line of work, I'm a structured cabling and fibre optic engineer building large data networks all over Europe and pretty much the rest of the world. The specific issues I was facing at the time of contacting Insolvency Law was a tax debt that came about from being a director of two companies, amongst other directors. There was a large tax debt of £110,000 and the only director they could locate was myself, and they issued me with a summons asking me to pay, and it then progressed from there, and I was served with a statutory demand for £110,000, and it's at that point that I thought I'd better get legal advice. I first found out about insolvency law by going onto the internet, googling statutory demands and potential insolvency and bankruptcy, and the insolvency law came up. The advice I got through to Peter Murray and explained my predicament at the time, and the advice that I gained from Peter was very, very reassuring. He put my mind at rest from the first part of the phone call, and as we discussed it further, he was very, very helpful, very polite, couldn't have been more helpful to be honest, and he totally put my mind at ease moving forward from there. The fees from Peter Murray were very, very reasonable. I had used insolvency practitioners before for chasing debts, and so I know what the costs can be, but I found insolvency law to be very, very reasonable through every step of the journey. Some of the main problems that we face in our industry is because it's mainly contractors, small contractors, large contractors, and quite often they end up not paying, they go into liquidation, which then has the knock-on effect of us not being able to pay our debts. It's not unusual, they go into liquidation, then they start up again a week later and leave everybody else with the problems of debt and wages and so on. When I received the statutory demand, they actually telephoned me first of all because I was out of the country to say I need to sign for a letter, and then when I got back to the country I read the letter and it said I had 28 days to pay the debt in full, which was totally impossible. I can imagine the shock. My wife was very upset about it all, and my first thoughts were, because they said they would make me bankrupt if I didn't pay within 28 days, and the first thoughts were losing the house, the family home, and just a terrible, terrible situation. I spoke to Peter Murray about this on the telephone, and I read out the statutory demand, the amounts the people claiming and the date it was due, and my concerns about losing the house and the family upset and everything. And right from the word go, Peter completely put my mind at rest. He spoke to HMRC, who was the people at the time, and they put off the statutory demand, and as I say, Peter put my mind at rest from there on. As soon as he told me that the statutory demand was cancelled and that he would start dealing with the case, my wife was happy, I was happy, and it just took the stress out of the whole situation. I would recommend insolvency law, especially Peter Murray, because he was the one I dealt with all the way through, but I would have no problem recommending Peter Murray to anybody that is experiencing similar problems as myself. I have already recommended him to a few people that I believe have contacted him, and would definitely do so in the future.